Hello there once again, and welcome to the second part of the lesson on multiplication. Now at the end of today's lesson, we should be able to multiply fractions, calculate the squares of numbers up to 500, and also calculate the square roots of perfect squares. Now first of all, let's look at multiplying fractions. So multiplying fractions can be done by following these steps. Number 1. Multiply the numerators of the fractions to get the new numerator. Multiply the denominators of the fractions to get the new denominator. Then you simplify the resulting fraction if possible. Now you see how easy that was? Now let's try an example and see how it goes. 2 over 5 multiplied by 5 over 10. Step 1. You multiply the numerators. 2 multiplied by 5 equals 10. Step 2. You multiply the denominators. 5 times 10 equals 50. Now step 3. Simplify the fraction. 10 over 50 equals 1 over 5. The fraction was simplified by dividing both top and bottom by 10. When multiplying mixed fractions, you can use the following steps. Step 1. First convert to an improper fraction. Step 2. Multiply the fractions. And finally, step 3. You convert the result back to a mixed fraction. Now let's take a look at this example. 1 whole number 1 over 2 multiplied by 2 whole number 1 over 5. Step 1. Convert mixed to improper fractions. To convert mixed fractions to improper fractions, first multiply the whole number part by the denominator. 1 times 2 equals 2. Next, you add that to the numerator, 2 plus 1, which equals 3. You write the result above the denominator, that is 3 over 2. Therefore, 1 whole number 1 over 2 equals 3 over 2. We do the same for the second mixed fraction, 2 whole number 1 over 5, which gives us a result of 11 over 5. Now comes step 2. You multiply the fractions. 3 multiplied by 11 equals 33. 2 multiplied by 5 equals 10. And then follows step 3. You convert the fraction back to a mixed number. 33 over 10 equals 3 whole number 3 over 10. Next, we will learn how to calculate the squares of numbers and the square roots of perfect squares. To square a number simply means multiplying that number by itself. Squared is often written with the number 2 on top, like this. This means that 4 squared equals 4 multiplied by 4, which is 16. 25 squared is 25 times 25, which is 625. 500 squared equals 500 times 500, which is 250,000. You can also find the squares of numbers in multiplication tables. Many mathematical operations have an inverse or opposite operation. For example, subtraction is the opposite of addition. The square root of a number is the opposite of a square. Now, we can describe the square root of a number as a value that can be multiplied by itself to give the original number. This is the symbol of a square root, and the square root of a number is usually written as this. Perfect squares are the squares of whole numbers. Therefore, the perfect square of 3 is 9, and the square root of 9 is 3 because 3 multiplied by itself equals 9. Now let's have a little practice of what we have learned so far. Can you guess the perfect square of the number on your screen? You are correct. The perfect square of 9 is 81 because 9 multiplied by itself equals 81. Now what is the square root of 49? You are right again. It is 7. 7 squared equals 49. Now with that example, we come to the end of today's lesson. Today, we learned how to multiply fractions and calculate squares and the square roots of numbers. Hope you enjoyed today's lesson.